friends. Welcome in. I am so glad you're here. I'm Katie Mass, Director of Community at Rock Paper Coin, and you are tuned in to RPC Money Talks, our monthly webinar series where we get honest and real about what it takes to run a real business today. If we haven't met before, we are a payment platform built for small business owners just like you that's designed to make invoicing, contracts, and payments easy and affordable, just like they should be. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Let's get that chat rolling. So, introduce yourself with your business name and your social handle. We enjoy watching this community grow and helping you build new connections. So, while you're at it, please take your phones out, give us a follow on social media so we can say hi, get to know you better. Sari's going to drop all of those links in there so you have them. Bonus points for snapping a pic during this session and tagging Brooklyn and us today. We just did that at the same time. Can
That's
you tell
like
we're friends?
good angle.
Oh my gosh, we love to see those. We really, really do. There's nothing better than getting off a webinar where you've just been chatting and talking, and then all of a sudden you just see those tags and you see what made everyone happy. So please feel free. And yeah, just let's follow each other on Instagram. So enough of all that housekeeping. Today is a big day because if I'm being honest, we know that most business owners have a complicated relationship with marketing. So let's talk about one of the most avoided topics in small businesses, and that is paid ads. We need visibility. We know people can't buy from us if they don't know that we exist. But somewhere between algorithm changes, social media burnout, being told to post 3 reels a day while throwing money at something that you don't understand. I mean, many of us are exhausted at just the idea of getting our businesses out there. Forget about actually paying for it. But our guest today is here to challenge all of that and make you see things a little bit differently. Brooklyn is a meta ads strategist and agency owner, but beyond that, she is a farm mama and someone who built an entire business after making one very expensive mistake. What started as stubbornness and doubling down with a few $5 a day ads turned into managing millions in ad spend and helping entrepreneurs scale their businesses through strategic advertising. But what I love most about Brooklyn isn't her expertise. It's that she believes that visibility changes lives. Because at the heart of everything she teaches is the idea that your business can't grow if people don't know you exist. And she does it all so relatably and so organically, you are going to fall madly in love with her. So I can't fangirl anymore without making it awkward. Brooklyn, my friend, welcome to RPC Money Talks. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. That was such a nice intro. I was blushing. I'm doing so well. I'm so excited to be here and just to chat with you and connect. I know you and I go way back. Where did we meet? A couple years ago
Yeah,
at Creative Educator Conference.
that's right.
So I've been really looking forward to this. And also in your intro, when you were saying how people have a bit of a sensitivity with paid ads. It's so true. So I'm excited to kind of dive into that and bust some myths.
Yeah, I mean, we're living proof. Go to the conference, go to the
Totally.
networking. Like, you
Yeah.
make friends. Like, I promise you do. Real life, in real life friends. Okay, let's have you kick us off by telling a little more about you and, most importantly, why this topic is so important for you to be here talking to us about today.
Oh, such a good question. So I guess to explain how I got into meta ads or why ads to begin with, like it goes back to how I got started in business because I never set out necessarily to have an agency. I didn't come on the scene from an agency experience and, driven to go build this big agency or to teach women ads even. I started as a photographer. So I was the classic shoot and burn photographer, charging 200, $300 a session, spending all of my nights and weekends taking sessions and fitting it in between having little kids and living on a farm. And what kind of spiraled and started the interest with ads was when the pandemic happened. So 2020, I had just built my photo studio and I went 20K in debt to build it. And then I didn't book a client for 6 months because the world shut down. And so coming out of that, I lived in a very small town. I might be getting ahead of myself too a bit with my story, but essentially like we needed to be able to get clients, and I live about 90 miles from a Target or any big market. So I just turned to ads. So I was like, I don't know how else to get in front of the people that I need to either come to my studio or for me to get to them.
Yeah.
So I hired an agency because I thought that that's what we were supposed to do. And I know you touched on that a bit in the intro too of like, well, I had an expensive lesson and I did. So
Yeah.
all
We are
in
going to dive into that story. Let me
here.
tell
Oh,
you.
so yes. So I don't know how much you want me to share now, but essentially that's kind of what started my
Yeah.
journey with ads.
I love it. That's perfect. And, and this is a great segue because listen, before we talk about business, I want to start there. I want to start with the fact that you live on a fifth generation farm with mini goats and chickens. Anyone else? Anyone else in the chat? A farm mama? Let us
These
know. Or
chickens.
a farm dad? Anyone? A farm anything? Like you said, your closest target is an hour and a half away. Like processing that, just processing that. And yet, girl, you've become one of the most sought after meta ads experts. If someone told 16-year-old Brooklyn, who, by the way, was nannying in Switzerland at the time, by the way, that this would be your future, what would she have said?
I don't, she would have been in disbelief. Like, I think that version of me would have, like, obviously I've grown so much since then. And so it's easy to sit here now and say like but she would have been in disbelief. She just wouldn't have even been able to comprehend what was going to happen or what was possible. And especially for that girl who was like, I had took my camera to Switzerland, I went to nanny and I was like, I'm going to take photos of everything. It was my first like DSLR camera that I was really excited about. I used
Cool.
or auto mode. I didn't use manual at all. So like I didn't know what I was doing, but I
Yeah.
think yeah, that girl would have been in disbelief. And not I don't say that in a way of like, look what I've accomplished, more so just like that little girl, I think she would be so excited to know what has transpired too.
You know what's so funny is you see those things online where they're just like younger you wouldn't even recognize today you. And it's so true because we work so hard at getting where we are and then we're in it and all we can think about is what's next? What's the next thing? Where am I? I'm behind. I'm this, I'm this, I'm
Right.
this. And it's like just stop for a second and think about little younger you, particularly maybe little younger you right before you left for college or like
Okay.
knew what you could have been and what you would have been and just be like just sit there for a second and just think about little younger you and like where you are now and what you've accomplished or even just what lessons you've gone through and like it humbles you, it really really does.
Yeah.
And here at RPC, we talk about the good, we talk about the bad, we talk about the ugly. And this isn't just another webinar where we talk about the highlights and the positives, because behind every success story is the real story of how you got there. And it's not always so pretty. So I want to start with the most relatable story, which is you once paid an agency many, many, many thousands of dollars, which is absolutely a lot of money when you're a small business owner. And in return, you got no leads, you got no results, you got no return. Take us back to that moment. What were you trying to accomplish in the first place? I think that's like super relatable to start with. But what happened and what did you feel?
Oh, yeah, when I I got ahead of myself a bit earlier, I was talking about like building the studio and in that moment of kind of desperation in a way because I was like, okay, I've got this debt and I need to be booking clients. And I didn't really know what I was doing with ads. And I think what inspired me to try was seeing other creatives in the industry, other photographers, other coaches, providers that were running ads because I was getting them.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I'm seeing this work for other people. And I'd been in enough like mastermind spaces and coaching spaces to understand that ads were a tool to use to get visibility. Um, but I think that like going at it from that place of desperation wasn't the move. Like it taught me a lot. But
Yeah.
because I came at it of like almost this had to save me instead of it just being like one more piece of your marketing puzzle, which that's how I look at it now. And my philosophy of ads in general is like it's not a magic wand. It just drives visibility and it amplifies whatever you're doing already. But I think at that moment, what I was feeling, was like, this has to work. I need to do something to get clients. This is
Yeah.
something I can do. I don't know what I'm doing. So let me just go hire someone that seems like they know what they're doing. And I honestly, like, I didn't do the due diligence I should have before hiring, which I'm sure you could probably relate to at some point too. It's,
Oh, yeah.
like the quick fix, like who do I quick hire? Who do I quick do to like fix this? And instead of being really intentional before that, of understanding maybe how I could have tried it. But there's so many lessons that I've come out of it with that I don't really look at it as a negative anymore. So it
Yeah.
taught me a lot.
Yeah. I think sitting here, we've all done that. Like we've all just like saw the template ad that came
Yeah.
across and you're just like, I mean, it's $60. Like what could I lose? And then
Yeah.
you open it and it's literally just generic text all over the place. And you're like, got me again. But,
Yep.
and I think one of the hardest parts about being a small business owner is that we are constantly making decisions in areas where we're not even close to being an expert.
Mhm.
Nobody hands you a degree in websites or systems or taxes or legal contracts, like things that have super scary implications when you start a business. You just have to figure it out as you go, which means most of us have paid at some point what I call entrepreneur tuition at some
Yep.
point.
Totally.
And we all have, like, we've all had to just sit in something that instead of doing our research on it, we just, the quick fix, the quick
Yep.
band-aid.
Right.
What did that experience teach you about outsourcing before you're educated enough to know whether something is working properly?
I mean, it taught me to maybe take a beat, like
Yeah.
take a minute and maybe look at the options first before moving. And I move quickly anyways. It's kind of my personality to, look at a few things and then just go. But I think
Yeah.
in that instance, I should have just researched a little bit more to
Mhm.
understand. Um, but I think what's important maybe for anybody listening to or watching, like if you're in a place where you're wanting to outsource something, but you're not really sure like what the parameters are to make it work really well, I would, well, one, we've got Claude now. So I would also
Yeah.
ask like, and more so not to understand how to do it yourself, but to know what questions to ask. Like,
Yes.
for me, say I need to hire a lawyer to write a contract or something like, hey, Claude, can you give me like 10 good like talking points or things that I should be looking for in a lawyer that's going to help me solve XYZ? Like I would just maybe ask yourself what questions do I need to be asking so that you feel like you have clarity to make that decision.
And ask friends,
Yes,
right?
also
Like
that. Yeah,
that's
like people that have experience in it. Yeah.
Oh, which can be the hardest thing if you're new, particularly
Right.
to whatever business it is that you're growing or you're building or you're in. Like the hardest thing is until you reach the point where you have the friends, you're in the groups, you're doing the things. But there's a Facebook for everybody. Like if you're
True.
not in one, like you need to join one today. Like there is someone you can ask a question to. But if not, Claude is, or Claudette or Claudere or whoever your Claude
Whoever
is,
you,
like
yeah.
that is your person to be able to ask these. Like we did not have that back in the
No.
day where, we just had to make these mistakes.
Yeah.
And I mean, in all honesty, it does feel like in the beginning, we're all just kind of operating on blind faith
Yep.
until we know better,
Yep.
right? And I have no doubt that everyone on this call has hired the wrong person or bought the wrong course or invested in the wrong strategy because you didn't really understand what it is that you were going for in the first place. Truly, someone somewhere has spent money on something that they didn't fully understand because they were trusting that someone else was going to be the expert and guide them through it. And I know you kind of referenced it a minute ago, but looking back, I'm sure there were warning signs when you were in it, or maybe before you were in it that you might have missed, or just sometimes we don't miss them. Sometimes we're so desperate that they're like, I'm just going to try it anyway. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
going to go for it. What do we need to pay attention to before hiring any expert?
I think a big thing to look for is just success stories for somebody like you. So seeing what, not that they need to have a whole highlight reel of success, but specifically for your offer. Like
Yeah,
say you're a realtor looking to hire someone to help you run ads, you're likely not going to go hire a maybe like a bro marketing agency that works, with health and wellness, for instance, or like, try to find somebody that understands your industry.
yeah,
And like for me, it was photography and the creative industry, and finding someone that could have helped specifically with those offers would have been a lot more beneficial than just hiring a generic agency that can run ads, because
yeah.
ads aren't like one size fits all and every business is unique. And so I would say if you're looking for someone or trying to vet, definitely ask your friends, ask your peers. I love that recommendation because there are so many people that are willing to give their thoughts on, if you maybe see somebody that's a little bit ahead of you in business running ads successfully, reach out to them and say, hey, do you have recommendations on what I should be looking for in somebody to run my
Absolutely.
ads? Or, or do you have
Absolutely.
somebody you recommend? Or just to get insight into for from other people's point of view. I think it's useful, but I would definitely say somebody that is has experience with your niche is something I'd look for.
Yeah, and I'd say that like industries overall like have become less clicky in the sense that information is now so readily available that there's really no harm in sharing information before.
Right.
Before it was like if you asked someone a question, it was like, I'm not going to tell you. This is my secret sauce. Like,
Right.
you
Like,
can't
what? How
like
dare you ask?
you got to figure this out on your own. And now, right? Like I distinctly remember being that like having that happen to me when I'm like I just want to do right. Like I'm starting a business. I just want to help. Like we're all in this together and it was like absolutely not. Like my clients pay me for this information. And now it's like information so readily available. I think people are a little bit more forthcoming, which is being like, hey, happy to help. This is what I use,
Mhm.
So don't be afraid to ask. I think is lovely advice. And I mean, you don't know also, like you don't know what good looks like until you've experienced some of the bad.
Totally.
And so you can ask all the advice in the world that you want to, but some of this is just going to have to happen to you in order for you to just kind of, get a little bit of the calluses up and get a little bit of experience and just know like, hey, that wasn't for me and I know why. And it's great that it worked for your friend, but it may not work for you. Um, and the other part of that is like, look, I mean, this is not making mistakes is not fun. Making mistakes and losing money and it's a very vulnerable thing. It's embarrassing to know that you didn't make the right choice. But worse, you also might have to tell a spouse or a partner that that money is gone. And running a business is hard enough. Making mistakes in it is just like a second dagger to the heart. And so I really love that you're being so open about your story here. And I hope that those listening to this feel better about hearing your experience because I know everyone here has a receipt from something at some time that they'd love to get a refund on.
Right.
So whether they want to say that out loud or not, so please let this be your moment of peace with that. When you look back, how much of your success today came from deciding to stop outsourcing understanding? And I think that stubbornness that you talked about really kind of gave you a gift. So when
Yeah.
when you look back, how much of that?
Oh man. Well, I felt like I didn't really have any other options, honestly, because I'd like kind of spent all the money and I'm like, well, my back's against the wall here
Yeah.
and I wanted to figure out how to do it. And maybe a bit of like that sunk cost fallacy was running in my brain too, of like, I've already invested this much, like I've got to make it work. And I liked what you said too, like you learn from doing and just going through it. And so had I not had that perspective too of seeing it work for other people and then realizing that this one agency wasn't the ticket for me, but knowing that there was a way to make it work, and I was like, okay, I just want to figure this out. Like even for
Mhm.
nobody else, but just for myself. But I think when I got to that point of just trying, and then it came from doing. Like it came
Yeah.
from me being willing to be like, okay, I'm gonna go see what I can learn on YouTube. I'm gonna look up, like I was the one downloading all the free resources I could find. Some of them were just, yes, text on a Google Doc that wasn't very useful, but some were super insightful and they would share their screen and walk through how they set up an ad or like I just got really scrappy. And then when I started understanding and started trying, and like I said, I just started with $5 a day because that's all I really had to spend at the time. And my business wasn't thriving at that point. So like literally I was like, okay, this is all I've got. We're going to see how many people I can get. And the cheapest, like I just started with a lead ad. I started with something simple to get leads. I was like, well, I know I want leads coming in. This is the goal. So we'll put five in, we'll see how it lands. And from doing that, then I started to see like exactly who was coming through, how I could like, oh, I'm getting their email. Now I can send them an email. Oh, I also asked for their Instagram. And now I can go follow them and like interact with them. Again, I don't recommend that all the time because it's a bit scrappy and maybe a bit stalkerish. But at the time, like it was all I had. And so
Yeah.
then I think learning came from doing. And then that understanding is what allowed me to just kind of keep building and then build my confidence like, oh, okay, I do what I'm doing. Okay, let's try five more. Let's try five more. And then the clients started coming in. And so I would say that being willing to take the time to learn for yourself in any area, even if it's just an overview of the topic before outsourcing is really valuable.
You often talk about getting into rooms before you're ready. And I love that. I love that so much. And I mean, let's talk about a walking example here. You literally walked into the ad space knowing nothing, having no experience, and feeling probably wildly unqualified would
Totally.
probably, right? Like,
Totally. Yeah. Oh,
um,
absolutely.
but you totally took a leap of faith and you said yes, and you went for it anyway after being in that space of just like, I don't know what else to do.
Mhm.
And I always have to kind of wonder, like, the guts it took to just be like, nope, you're not done with me. Like, I'm gonna come back. And we talked about that vulnerability and like, you had a family, like you took a risk, you took a shot and it backfired and you landed hard. And so like, where did you get the guts to go back and try it again?
I think it came back to like the determination of just wanting to make it work. Like I didn't, and it wasn't necessarily like being seen as a failure that was driving me. I do have some Enneagram 3 in me that likes to achieve and like, always be the best, which is not always the best. But I do think some of that came into play of that like determination of like I don't want to fail at this. But
Mhm.
I think maybe the guts to keep trying was just that I didn't feel at that time I had many other alternatives. Like I was doing all the organic things that I felt like I could at the time. And again, I saw it work for other people. And so, and also, I mean, to go a level deeper, I would say the way I was raised has a lot to play into this. Like my dad and my mom are like very resilient people. They raised me to be resilient. Like even living on a farm, there's so many things that we do on the farm that's like it's not easy. And so a bit of that has been just kind of baked into me growing up. And so I feel like I carry that even to this day with running a business. It's like very much I just kind of expect for things to not go right because when you're running a business, there's so many things that don't go right. But at the time, I definitely would say, yeah, kudos probably to my mom and dad for raising me the way they did. And just a little of that like self-determination of like, no, I'm gonna figure this out.
Listen, this entire thing just really identified a business owner. Like, I know that everyone listening to this right now is like, yep, resilience. The hits keep coming. I'm coming back, right? Stronger, right? And so thank you. Thank you for that. And honestly, none of this is surprising. I love it. I have a cameo here. She just
I
keeps
love it.
going back and forth. We have kids here. We have dogs. I mean, rock, paper, coin. We are family friendly, you guys. Um,
Love it.
none of this is surprising. I have heard you say, I'm building the plane while I'm flying it.
Mhm.
And I know that is something that we can all relate to here on this call. So much of business is the art of mastering confidence, like you said. What, this is kind of a fun one, put you on the spot. What are you still figuring out today that people assume that you've mastered?
What am I not still figuring out? Let's be real. Like, I really do like. I'm a continual work in progress, honestly. Like I don't always, I don't think I'll ever get to a place where I know all the things.
Yeah.
Like where I've fully mastered meta ads and I can do it in my sleep. Like, yes, I know them well, but there's always more to learn. I would say something surprising, maybe. I'm in a stage of scaling. Fairly aggressively right now. And so hiring team, managing a team is definitely like probably one of my bigger challenges right now, just because I've never managed 7 people at once or been like responsible for paying all those people and the like and it's not a bad thing. Like I'm grateful and I'm honored to be able to provide for all of them and their skills are insane. So like please yes, stay working with me because they're great. But I would say probably that would maybe be something that outwardly people aren't aware of that I'm
Yeah.
wading through right now and trying to figure out. And of course I make mistakes. Like I make the wrong hire sometimes, or I'm not the best leader as I'm trying, but I'm also like very open with like, hey, this is where we're at. Let's have open communication. This is the goal we're all working towards. But yeah, that's probably something that definitely not mastered. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're right, right? Like we start as a small entity. We start as a small idea. We start as this dream, and then it grows. And then the goal ultimately is to have it grow again.
Right.
And then when it does, you realize, oh my gosh, like on the outside, everyone's like, "Oh, you made it." And you're just like, "I'm barely surviving over here. Like I don't know who gave me the keys to this place, but it was a terrible idea." And so, yeah, like it really is. It's funny. You like get all this motivation, you build the dream, and then all of a sudden the dream dreams again, and you're just like, "Whoa, like I did it. Also, I did it." Like I
Like you're
can't
looking
believe.
around like, wait, okay, now what? And
Yeah.
also what? Like this is me?
Who
Like
approved this?
right.
Oh my gosh. Well, one thing that has always struck me in your story is your passion for helping women become more visible. And I know that that comes from a deeply personal place. You grew up in a highly controlled religious environment, and you and your husband were the first ones in 4 generations to leave, which is absolutely incredible. First of all, how did you find the courage to say, we want something different, and then actually leave?
Yeah. And I'd like this is it's a highly personal topic. I've shared some, in small groups. I share a little bit here and there on Instagram about it, and I'm glad you brought it up because this is a big piece that it kind of governs all of my decisions and how I'm building a business, how I'm raising kids, how I am in a marriage, like the type of wife I am. But I think coming back to that decision of ultimately to leave and it came from ultimately what's best for us and our family and being willing to kind of protect our kids, protect our family as our little family of 5 and make those decisions for us regardless of any of the noise around us. um and I think particularly with what I came out of, and I also just want to preface that like I love my parents dearly. I love my grandparents dearly. Like our family means the world to us. And so I don't find fault with any of them,
Yeah.
that for any of this. Like it just is like our decision to leave. And so, but I think making that decision, it was like we have to stand on our own and we have to choose what's going to be right for us. And the culture was very much women particularly, and maybe it was my personal experience too. and I'll just speak from my own experiences, that it felt very controlling in what women were supposed to wear, how they were supposed to act. Everything about us felt very like, um, it just kind of like I felt a bit like, and maybe it was just my own thought process doing it to myself, but I think because of what I came out of, it has inspired me so much to help women be seen in a bigger way and not feel like they have to apologize for who they are or that they have to shrink themselves to fit in a box, and not in a way that they're out there to prove themselves to anybody, but just to like do what is laid on their heart to do, and like be seen in the way they want to be seen, and that like that is okay and that's good, and it can like have such a great impact and even domino effect for other women and other people in your life, like to be able to go and do whatever is on your heart, whether it's a business or whether it's being a mom and being like whatever it is that you feel called to do. And I think ads specifically it's an interesting avenue for me to end up in, because it helps, and that's particularly women, because we help female entrepreneurs now help them be seen in a bigger way and like be known for their business or whoever, like it's almost the opposite of how I felt like I had to be very small. And so it drives a lot of my passion beyond just running ads.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't help but think about the contrast between where you started and where you are today. I mean, you've built an entire business around helping women get seen and be front and center, not just through ads, but through overall confidence and visibility and believing their voice deserves to be heard, which is so, so incredibly important. And I'm curious, when you help someone finally put themselves out there, right? They're finally like they're running their first ad that they never thought that like was going to happen, or they finally maybe launched that offer that they wanted to put together. They're finally believing that they're worthy of being seen. Does any part of you feel like you're rewriting your own story at the same time?
Absolutely. 1000%. Yeah. It's like seeing little pieces of like women finding their confidence or seeing that it can work, or like it's like that you learn by doing, and so they do the thing, and then it like, oh, there's actually people that want to work with me, or oh, I get this really great brand deal because I ran an ad, or maybe it's like, oh, I finally believe I'm capable of this,
Yeah.
because having the validation of people buying or being interested gives you then the confidence. So yeah, 1000%. Every time it's like that little bit of like penny in the penny jar that just keeps stacking
That's
up.
right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's cool.
Hmm. What beliefs do women specifically carry into entrepreneurship that you believe or have quietly or have seen quietly sabotage their own growth?
Man. Um, Something I've run up against or heard a lot, is the idea of like I should be farther along,
Hmm.
which I feel like can sabotage any of us.
Oh my gosh. So, so much, so much.
Yeah,
Especially when it's like, it's you. Like, it's you. Like, you wake up every day and it's on you to decide, like, what happens.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
What income comes in, what client like you're going after, or how much income you need for the like it's on you. There isn't a boss at the end of the day that you have to report to and a steady paycheck that's coming through the door because every 2 weeks, regardless, you're getting paid.
Right.
That's not how it works. And so that self-sabotage, that doubt, that worthiness, like it leaves you quickly.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah. And it like having that voice in your head that tells you, I feel like that negative voice is so much louder for most of us, at least it is for me. And it almost becomes a muscle you have to train to overcome, of like, no, it's actually that's not the truth. Like I am doing great. And again, going back to that 16-year-old self, like think of it from her perspective. It's like you have accomplished so much more than you ever thought. And it's just a perspective shift of like, there's always going to be more to attain and try to go after. And like you are doing enough and you are enough exactly where you are.
That's beautiful. Um, so I was thinking about this. So you were a photographer and you left that behind recently, even taking your community along for the journey of closing up your photography studio on socials. And that was incredibly emotional. And I think it's something that either a lot of people listening to this can relate to. They've left something behind and started something else, or maybe they're in the process of feeling like what they're sitting in isn't really like where they're supposed to be sitting in it anymore, and they don't know what they're going to next. Um, and I think that's normal. A lot of creatives start in one place and then naturally feel pulled or driven to start something else. Um, it can be scary though, still. Leaving
Right.
something that's known for something unknown is terrifying. How did you know that you were walking toward something instead of walking away from something?
Yeah, coming out of the photography business, I felt so good about the agency and how it's grown and the community, even with out of office and the ladies in it and the people I get to serve. Like it was bittersweet to close the studio. As good things. It's hard to say goodbye to things that served you really well for a long time in my life. But I knew it was time in my gut. And it's a weird thing to have to put into words because I don't know if there was a certain moment that I could pinpoint, like, yep, that was it. Or then I knew. I think it just was a gradual build on, like, okay, it's time. I only have so much time in my day, and I have plenty on my plate at the agency. And it just felt like it was like it had been in my heart for a while to close it, and it just is like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to keep growing, and the opportunities coming into for ads is just, it's blown me away. And so I know that there'll be more coming, and I just kind of trust that it will work out like it's supposed to. So yeah, I think I just kind of knew it was time to move on.
Yeah, yeah. And I know sometimes things can come into our minds, they can come into our heart, and it's like you should never just react on that first thought. It's like don't ever just take the first weird dream that you had as like a sign that you're supposed to do something because that can often lead into mistakes and misdirection, right? And something I truly honor and value in you is that you don't seem bitter about mistakes. Like most people can tell a story about a mistake that cost them thousands of dollars, and you can still hear the frustration or the regret or the desperation years later. And in some ways, when I hear your story, I almost hear gratitude, or dare I even say a little gratefulness. Why is that?
It's kind of neat to hear you reflect that to me. So like thank you for seeing that. Because there is a lot of guilt that comes obviously with, making mistakes and having those tough experiences. But I think at this point I've made enough mistakes to realize how useful they were, because you can look back and be like, well, had it not been for X, I wouldn't have done Y. Or had it not been for, that agency I hired is a prime example. Had it not been for them, I wouldn't have known what a bad experience looked like. And even now, as I'm building an agency, I go back to that experience so many times of how I'll do it differently and how I'll serve my clients because I went through that. And also it led me to figure it out. I might have said they had killed it and like started filling my studio with clients and it was working well. Like I may have never had the need or desire to learn it for myself. So I think being able to realize now, and again, it comes back to that self-trust that you build and that resilience of like knowing you're going to figure it out. And so I don't look at it necessarily like, yeah, of course I take the lessons and some are more expensive than others. But then it's like, how can I take that lesson and actually make it mean something good for me? How can I use it then to fuel what I'm not going to do? Or maybe it's a win and then I can stack on top of that and it's a skill that I learn or whatever that is. So I just look at it so much now, like we get to decide how, like what we let it mean in our life. And so why be bitter over something when at the end of the day, it's just affecting you? Like what, like why choose if it's between being bitter or being like acceptant of it and grateful for it, like why let myself carry the weight of being bitter when it's really just a weight I'll have to carry. So that's maybe just making the choice that it's like, no, it's like, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I made a bad decision. Yeah, I have to maybe admit that and sit with it. And how do I change going forward? How do I learn from it?
Thank you for that because I think most people spend years wishing that they could undo the hard things.
Yeah.
And, while you're looking at that experiencing and recognizing that it helped create the version of you that's sitting here with us today. And I think it's interesting because most of us want the lesson without the tuition.
Yep.
We want the wisdom, we want the confidence and the expertise. We just don't want to pay the bad part of it. We just
Right.
really don't want to pay for it.
Right.
But as painful and expensive as that experience is in the moment, what an amazing inspiration to hear because it ended up becoming the foundation of extreme success for you that you might not have had and probably would not have had otherwise.
Right.
And let's be real, I think most people listening today would gladly pay $5,000 to see the future
Right.
and
Yeah.
know exactly what they're supposed to do next and gain an upper hand on finding success. I mean, come on, magic 8 ball, like be good to us. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, in all these lessons, you aren't just building and growing a business for you, you're raising three precious kiddos. And I want to dive into something right now because we don't talk nearly enough about what it takes to build a successful business while everyone around you still needs dinner and rides and laundry and emotional support and hugs and rubs and birthdays and gifts and school forms signed and a million other things. Do you ever feel like women today are encouraged to build extraordinary things and chase their dreams and build their futures and find success while simultaneously making sure that nobody around them feels the impact of what it costs for them to actually build those things and succeed?
Absolutely. Like the pressure is immense on all sides. I feel like as like modern women, as moms, as business owners, that like I don't necessarily believe in work-life balance because it's a constant give and take. Like it's unrealistic in my opinion to expect your big beautiful business that you're supposed to build that's supposed to be super successful and then you're also supposed to maintain everything else. You're also supposed to have the laundry always cut up and don't forget about soccer on Tuesdays and like don't forget about the birthday party and oh, did you, pack the lunches and you're gonna feel bad if you put a lunch like it's a little turns out instead of using fresh organic meat, you're packing like what a Lunchable instead or a so I think it's unrealistic to be completely candid. And I think it's a disservice ultimately to your kids and to yourself and to your spouse if you have one that if you're not letting them in on the whole of it, like to see you in the grind and building, just like they see you folding laundry at 11 p.m. some nights, or whatever that is, like just let them see the full picture, so that our daughters and sons can grow up with a realistic view and understanding that there isn't something they have to maintain either. That's, a false narrative that is kind of unattainable.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Because listen, it sure feels like women are expected to build empires during business hours and leave no evidence of construction when they come home. So, right?
Yeah,
Like, we can't celebrate women for doing it all and then judge them for what they couldn't do while we were out there doing it all. So, it's just my 2 cents
totally
there.
agree. Totally agree.
So speaking of, what's really wild is waking up one day and deciding I'm going to build a business, put my face on the internet and talk about my work every day, and then ask people to pay me for it and hope it all works out. Like, why do we do the things that we do? That is terrifying. Even just like saying that out loud, it's exciting, but it's terrifying. And it's so real being afraid of looking foolish and failing publicly. And you said something recently that I loved. If you're willing to run ads and put your business in front of strangers on the internet, you're already doing more than most people. So, Girl, let's assume that everyone listening is absolutely terrified. Help us, empower us. How do you become the person willing to be seen?
I I mean, I could sit here and act like I have it all figured out and I really don't. So I'll just be honest, like it just comes from doing. Like unfortunately, it you're gonna feel cringe when you do it to start. I did. Like I was embarrassed. I some of my friends will just block anybody that they know so that they feel like they can put blinders on and just go do what they need to do. Some friends will go to TikTok because they feel like they're more free over there. But honestly, like the confidence for me came from doing. And it just came from the like putting in the reps time and time again, making the story, like I tried like the Yap challenge, right? Where I talk face to camera. That's something that I'm not super duper comfortable with, but I'm forcing myself to become more and more. And it also, like, I know over time, I'm like, well, if I show up messy, I mean, like, there's nothing that they're not seeing. So it's only going to keep getting better. So I think I just like, if there's any piece of wisdom or advice that I could give, I guess it would just be like, just be okay with being cringe and just accept that like everybody starts at being cringe because like that's how we all learn. Um so and yeah, I think there's a quote of like don't I don't know it off the top of my head, but like don't compare your day one to like their day 100.
100%. I mean, look,
So
like all of our makeup got better. Like,
yeah,
as we got
right.
older,
Yeah,
like it's we all have advanced and like done much better things with ourselves than even just like 2 years ago. Like it's truly, right? So the progression is real. Like
yeah,
your day one is gonna be your day one. Like,
right.
but your day 100 is gonna woof, like you won't even recognize yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've got to put blinders on, block a few people. Do whatever you need to do
Yeah.
to because don't let that be the thing that keeps you from having the success that you want to have.
Totally. Totally. Well, and everyone has opinions, whether you're successful or not. So,
Absolutely.
but you're the only one paying your bills.
Right. Exactly.
So, look, we've spent 30 minutes talking about courage and confidence and visibility and betting on yourself, which has been incredible and inspiring and so relatable. And I'm so thankful and glad that we dove into that first part because I don't think that any part of the rest of your story and your experience and your knowledge would make sense without knowing like where you came from. So, thank you for being so vulnerable. And I'd be a bad host if I let you leave here today without picking your brain at least a little bit about the thing everyone came here to learn about from you, which is meta ads. So, before we dive into some ad talk, I want to know at what point did you realize you weren't just figuring out ads anymore, that you were becoming really, really good at them?
Ooh, well, the proof came first with clients because I was running ads and it was working. Like people were booking and driving 90 miles to my studio in the middle of nowhere. And I was getting booked for very well-known brands at the time that I was wanting to be booked for. And so I was like very confident that my ads were working because without them, those clients wouldn't have found me. So
Yeah.
I knew then that was kind of like my first sign, like, okay, you're onto something. And then I started teaching other photographers how to, and at the time I started teaching them how to like build a successful photography business because it's like, well, this is what I've done. I wasn't fully onto it then that it was ads that had done it. Like I knew it was a piece, but I was looking more like, well, I was offering products and I was like, I had a higher price point. And so it was because of all these other things. Well, yes, they definitely played into it. It was when I also started teaching photographers how to build their businesses that it was very clear that it was ads that had got the clients in ultimately. And then that was at that moment then I was like, okay, not everybody's doing this, not everybody knows how to do this. And yeah, and then I was like, okay, this is something that I can, and people started asking me to do their ads, and then that was just another feather in the hat. I was like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and just kept growing from there.
Yeah, and now with your experience, I mean, you've come across so many different business types, so many different people, so many different ages, stages, phases, like just all the things. Is there any reason someone wouldn't be ready for ads and should wait to start them? Have you come across that or experienced that?
Yeah, I mean, that was me when I first started because I like hired an agency and I really wasn't quite ready for them at the time. And that if I had to put like a number on it or like a hard like if you're under like I wouldn't start messing with ads until you've got a really proven product. Like you have either a service or a product that you know sells. So if you've sold it to at least like one person and you have validation that it is something people want, that is part one. Part two, if there's a number behind it, I would say minimum like six figures is a good benchmark, but really like 50K, you should be clearing at least that a year before I would start with ads, just because there's so many things to learn in your business beyond ads that I would encourage you to like work on first, whether it be your craft or your product, whatever you're offering. That is going to be a better use of your time before trying ads.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That right there was, we can be end now. We're good.
Okay,
That was
that's
good.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
What else you
Um,
got?
no, I love that. One thing I love that you've said is there's an ad for every budget. So let's talk real numbers because I think people assume they put in $100 and then immediately get $1,000 out, right? It's like ads aren't real money, right?
Right.
So there's just this like, misconception around them. So what can someone realistically accomplish with $5 a day? And what does that even look like? Why does that even work? Because, I mean, to be honest, it sounds too good to be true. Like,
Totally.
so explain that for us.
Yeah. And it makes complete sense. And it's the ad for every budget is because say you run a $5 day ad. I'll just walk you through like the one quickly that I started with. It was a lead ad, and it was an ad essentially to get people to opt in for something I was giving them in return. So you have a freebie, for instance. Like a freebie is a great little thing to like trade for someone's email address. But then what you're doing after they give you your contact information, that's where the money is. So regardless of how much you're spending on ads, like you can be spending 100K a day on ads, but the biggest payoff comes after they click on it.
Mm.
So while yes, there is an ad for every budget, it really is going to depend on like what you're going to do with it after you get the traffic. Because you open up the faucet, you turn the ad on and you start spending money. That's essentially giving Meta some ammo to like, okay, go show this to people that are likely to buy my product. And after they click on that, then how do you maximize it? So if you're only spending $5 a day, I got that contact information. For me, that was the most valuable thing that I could get for $5 a day. I opted to do that instead of doing an ad to grow my following because, yes, I got them following me, but I didn't have them opting in for anything. I didn't have them giving me my email address. I didn't have a verbal, like, hey, or not so much verbal, but like a virtual nod of like, yes, I want to sign up for something you're giving me. It felt like okay, they've opened the door to this relationship and now I can send them emails. I can follow up with them. I can like now connect with them. And so for $5 a day, then I was getting on average 10 to 20 people a day were opting in. So I'd get their contact information. I had emails set up to go out to them, offered them a one-time offer. It was such a good offer that they're like dumb to not jump on it.
Yeah.
And through doing that, then I got people interested in booking me and I reached out and connected with them. And so it came in that follow-up process. Uh, but that's how you can make $5 a day work for you. But you've got to be willing to like put in a little effort too, because it's definitely
Yeah.
not magic.
Yeah, it's not like, post a pretty picture
Right.
on just like this random little spot, pay $5 and Facebook's gonna work for you. Like,
Right. And
ta-da!
done. Like, oh. But no, like in my groups, I get messages often of like, wow,
Yeah.
I got 100 new leads this week for spending $5 a day. Or I'm getting leads for like 13 cents or 50 cents or a buck 20 or whatever, like, and they're people that are interested in what you have to offer. So it can absolutely work. And yeah, I see it happen a lot in my groups.
So if someone listening to this has never run a single ad in their life, which I know is a lot of like 99.9%, what's it, would you say that that's the first type of ad that they should run? In,
Yeah, it's a great one to
yeah.
start with. I think it depends on what their ultimate goal is. Like if you're completely new to ads though, I like a lead ad because it also builds your confidence a bit as you're starting to run them. So as you're managing, you're putting $5 in. you're starting to get immediate validation. Or if it's not working, you also know too. So it's like, okay, people aren't opting in for my offer, or no, they're not contacting me, so I need to change something. But it also builds like, okay, I know what I'm doing because people are opting in. Oh, they are seeing this thing. You can see the analytics come through that they are clicking, they're opting in, they're maybe messaging you too, they're reaching out, they're starting to follow you. And that alone, in my opinion, is worth the $5 a day. It's like that price of entry of just getting your feet wet to then feel really comfortable, maybe bumping up to a low ticket ad where you're selling something, or maybe you have a mid ticket membership or program you want to run ads to, or maybe you're going to do a high ticket offer and you need applications. Like those things that will need a little more ad spend behind them to make them work, then you'll have that confidence in yourself that you're capable of running ads.
Yeah. And I mean, assuming that everyone here that is going to hear this, that is going to partake in this, are beginners, what are the biggest mistakes that you just see time and time again? Beginners are kind of making that they don't have to. We can just avoid that mistake altogether.
Oh boy. Oh,
I know.
where should we start? No, just kidding. Um, an easy one is just like assuming that you have to have a huge budget to start.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you, and also the misconception that like you have to leave your ads on forever. I like to reassure anybody in my world when they start running ads, like you have full control over these. You can turn them off at any point. Like if it's spending too much, if it feels uncomfy, turn it off. Like, yes, of course, they're only going to work if they're on, but if it is something that is outside of your comfort zone after you start, like you have the ability to just toggle the button and turn them off.
Yeah. How long do you normally see that an ad, like if somebody is like, woof, okay, I'll give it a try, and it's like a budget hitter, and all of a sudden it's like, do you know pretty quickly that an ad isn't really resonating the way that you had hoped, or do you really need to give it a little time?
Again, it's going to depend on if you've run ads before, if you haven't. Like,
Yeah.
because if you've run ads before, Meta has history in your account from your Pixel, which is just Pixel's a little piece of code that tracks all of your ad activity. So if you've ran ads for a while and your Pixel has data, meaning Meta understands a little more context of your account. If you're completely new and Meta doesn't have any of that information yet, and it's like, we have never ran an ad and Meta is completely, kind of flying blind because you haven't given it any data for it to track or to reference.
Yeah.
5 to 7 days within that first week, you're going to be able to look at the analytics of that ad spend and see what the cost per click was. If you were getting people in, like you'll see signs that say on the lead ad, you're spending $5 a day and you let it run for a week. That gives you 7 good days of data to know you should have at least 7 people that had opted in, at least one per day minimum for that $5. If you don't have even that, then you know it's a bad ad. And I have a whole module of like monitoring your ads. And I have an app actually that's coming out this week, but it has all these things built in. So it makes it really simple. Like you can upload a screenshot of your ads and be like, hey, are these performing? What would Brooklyn do with this? It's been on for a week. Tell me what to do. Like it's super simple. But if you're new to it and you're just trying to like see, I would minimum of a week to let it run.
Okay.
Sorry, that's a long answer to your question.
No, it was beautiful. It was great. Before we head into Q&A, because wow, we had a couple really incredible questions there. Again, like playing this game, let's imagine someone leaves this webinar fired up just like you were in those early days. They were like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna run my first ad. They've never run an ad before, but man, they're ready. Okay. Can you give us just a mini, like 30-day roadmap? Just like week one, do this, week two, do this, week three, week four, just a little something to get them started.
Absolutely. First, you got to go to adsmanager.facebook.com. That's going to be where you need to live. So go there first, get yourself an ad account set up. To have an ad account, you need a Facebook business page and an Instagram professional account. So make sure you've got those two things so that your ads can run on both accounts. If you're fired up about running an ad, you're going to need an offer. So you need to decide on, okay, do I want to run this ad to get people in the door? Say you want to do a lead ad. So you'll need something in exchange to get that email address. So you need some kind of freebie, some kind of wait list that you want to lead people to, something that will entice them to give you their email address. So step one, set up ads manager. Step two, make sure you've got Facebook business and Instagram professional account. Step three, decide on your offer of what you want to run, like if it's a giveaway. Step four is to create the ad graphics because you need, and I would say 4 to 5 to start if you're going to start with $5 a day. And to start creating good ad graphics, start paying attention to what ads you are seeing that make you stop. I just like make a simple
Mm.
save folder in your Instagram of ads that you notice, save them into a little Instagram folder, take screenshots, put them in a screenshot, whatever works for you, so that you can understand and start then dissecting of like, why did this ad make me stop? What about this is getting my attention? And then you can duplicate in your own way for your own ads.
Brilliant. Look at this. Boom.
That's where I would start.
I love that. And then put it into Claude and it'll help you with the rest of it.
Exactly. And then you can set it up or use my app or use it. Yeah. Find a
Or I was
resource.
going to say,
Go to YouTube.
or
Yeah.
this is the perfect next segue of please tell people how they can work with you, Brooklyn,
Yes.
and
Turns
continue
out you can come in
learning
out of
from
office.
you.
Yes. I have a community where I help women essentially do all of this. They can
Yeah.
ask questions 24/7. They get access to me. They'll get access to my app. They get access to all my courses. Um, it's we have monthly calls. We do retreats twice a year that are super fun. Our next one's in Palm Springs. We actually have 2 houses full. And there it's like a compound. It's gonna be so cool. It's where Guess Jeans hosts their events for Coachella. And it's just like, oh, it's so beautiful. So we're going to do like a content day. We've got photographer coming in. So you'll get content for your ads while you're there. And then we do an ad intensive day. It's so cool. Um, I'm biased, but I love that space. So yeah, so they can
Listen,
come
I
into
will
that
come clean the
membership space.
pool. I will
Yes,
come take the trash
please
out. I'm just gonna,
come hang out.
I'm
You
gonna
should.
lurk.
Yes. So yeah, and we just yeah, so there's that space. We've got like done for you options. We do like a one-time ad funnel. But everything lives on my website. It's bizwithbrooklyn.com. Yeah, and we do full agency too, but or Instagram. I'm pretty accessible. If you send me a DM, it's me behind there, so I'll answer you. But I just love to connect and I just get excited for people that they're open to trying ads because I know it's something that's kind of like it can feel really risky. But just start small, and I'll celebrate with you. So drop in the DMs anytime.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Okay, are you ready to fire off a couple of these Q&As? Because
Yes.
I know
What do we
we're
got? I haven't
running
been watching the chat at all, so I gotta pay attention.
we're running a little late, but that's okay. I think this is gonna be worth it. What are your top three tips for cold audiences with meta ads?
Um, top 3 tips for cold audiences. Um, if you're like testing new audiences, oh man, I wish I could go back and forth with these questions.
I know.
Um, because I've got more questions. If you're just running like an offer to a cold audience, what tips would I have? Is that a good way to answer
Yeah,
it?
I think so.
Um, I guess just be really aware of the purpose of the ad. Like if
Mhm.
you're and be realistic with who you're trying to show the ad to. Because a cold audience I wouldn't target a mid or high ticket offer to a cold audience unless you have a very well established brand. So that would be like anything over $300. Usually the threshold's like 297, what we see for agency clients. Anything over that price point, I only want to run to as a retargeting or to a warm audience. So if you're trying to run something to a cold, something that's good that works there is like free lead gen offer, a low ticket offer, anything under, like $97, $57, 37, like anything. And we've found that ending in seven converts really well for our agency clients. So I typically go to that, like a $27 offer. But it's not to say you can sell an offer at whatever price point you want, but that's just psychologically what's landed. So yeah, so don't run a high ticket offer to a cold audience unless you have a massive following already. Like if you've got 400, 500,000 followers, by all means. If you're Hormozy, yeah, you can run cold ads to whatever you want. Um, but it's just not going to convert as well because they don't know you yet. So low ticket, membership type things, lead gen, wait lists. Those are good things to run to a cold audience.
Love. Okay. What types of ads work best for wedding and event professionals? I'm a wedding planner and my husband is a photographer.
Hmm. Good question. Okay, so if you are a wedding and event planner, comes back to what's the main purpose of running an ad? Like, are you wanting just, I'm assuming that you'd want just like a handful of great clients every year. So
Yeah.
you're not looking for volume, you're probably looking for like quality, not quantity. So your best bet is going to be like a book a call, I'm assuming, if that's your onboarding process to like get people into a situation where you can connect with them. So maybe it's an ad to an application, and then the application, you can decide if they're a right fit to hop on a call or not. And
Yeah.
I like application versus inquiry because if you are running an ad to something for someone to inquire with you, it's the illusion that you are available to anybody. Like you can just inquire and see if we're a fit versus applying it already puts you in the place of they're applying and you get to decide if they qualify to work with you because you have a set limited like it's not fake urgency. It's like you only have so many spots to fill or so many so many weddings that you could take. So really there needs to be an application to see if they're a good fit. So I would run an ad to an application to work with you. And then you could speak to different buyer types based on my brain goes to messaging of like what do those ads look like and how do you set them up? But an ad to an application page, get them to apply, and then get on a call with them. That's what I would do for weddings. And same for photographers, you could do that as well. If it's a wedding photographer, apply to work with you. Or if you're looking for, there's so many types of ads you could run. So yes, that's what I would do if you're really looking for like leads, people like really interested in your services, to qualify them.
This one's kind of similar. We have a wedding venue and I'm having trouble reaching couples to come look at our venue. Not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I'm interested in learning what I could do to better reach them.
Yeah. First, I would just like encourage you that you're likely not doing anything wrong. There's just always more that we can do. Like even in my business, there's always more ads I can run. There's more social posts I can make or more emails I can send. So, but also just like relieve that pressure a bit too, because you're likely not doing anything wrong. But I would say something you could try if you're looking to do an ad, you're looking for people to come view your venue. You could offer a day, like make an ad for a specific event to come view the venue. So you're getting a lot of people interested in coming to that one event to view it versus spending so much of your time in one off, like, hey, come see if you like the venue, where it feels almost like you're pulling, like trying to convince them that they need to come see it. How can you flip the script and be like, no, we've actually got this incredible venue. These are all the like reasons that you should come see it. And by the way, we're going to have this cool 1 day event where you can come meet all the vendors and see the space. And maybe you charge for it. Maybe you flip that into like, how can I make this an offer that you have to pay to come see the space? And maybe you already do. So again, whoever asked this question, I'm sorry if I'm throwing more ideas at you than you asked for, but I like the idea of having a reason for them to come see you and running an ad
Yeah.
to that event so it drives a reason and there's urgency and there's a deadline because it's a specific day versus it just being open-ended like come check us out type of ad.
Yeah. This one was just asked. I have $1,000 Google ad credit. I do not want to use it because I do not have a strategy to get the most out of the ad. Do you suggest only using $500 at a time to test? What is the best approach to start using the ad to sell services?
This probably comes down to more like your comfortability with running the ads.
Mhm.
Um, Kind of like me when if I go back to my experience of starting with $5 a day ads. Like I don't I would want to take away the pressure for you that you have to spend all of that $1,000 right now on everything. Like I would almost break it up and be like, maybe I'm going to spend $100 this week and have a intentional ad with an intentional purpose and track then like monitor it for a week to see what actually happens with it, then look at the data and then decide, okay, I've used $100 of it, I've got 900 left. Now go spend the next $100 based off of the data that you got. Maybe you get, I don't know, 100 clicks that come through. So this is great. Maybe two of those actually click through to book with you. Is this a result you like? Is it like, does it pay off for your offer? If so, okay, let's put another $100 behind it. So I would just break it up probably and just spend like a chunk at a time, like $100 at a time, monitor it, spend another, monitor it. So then you can tweak as you go.
Yeah, I love that. Um, okay, well, my friend, we had a couple others. I'm gonna actually send them to you.
Okay, cool.
Um, and man, now the chat. It's so funny. We get to the end and then people are chatty. I love it so much. I have a couple others, and then maybe you can answer them and we can put them on our stories.
Yeah,
I think that would
happy
be
to.
great. Okay, so my friend, thank you. Thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability, and your willingness to share not just the wins, but the lessons and your pivots and your risks and just the moments that shaped your journey. Your story is incredibly inspiring. I saw that word in the chat come up multiple times. This is inspiring. And so please know that. And I can speak for everyone here when I say that we're so grateful that you spent this time with us today. And to everyone who joined us, thank you, of course, for being here and investing in yourself and your business. We know your time is valuable, and we hope you leave this conversation remembering that every successful business owner you admire was once standing exactly where you are today. So please, please, please keep going. Before you head out, be sure to register for our next RPC Money Talks with Nathalia from Vixen Creative. She is leading us in on a hands-on presentation on why that beautiful website you invested so much time and money in is not bringing in consistent leads. She's going to talk about the four types of websites that quietly cost business owners bookings and the simple changes that can dramatically improve visibility, trust, and conversions. She'll also be sharing an exclusive website audit that she created just for the RPC community and so much more. And because summer is in full swing, we've got not one, but two incredible money talk sessions coming your way in July. Also, just because I'm crazy, including a bonus tech session, which is a hands on, wait for this, iPhone masterclass that you are not going to want to miss because we are all using our phone like it's 2011 and it's time that we properly use it, my friends. So that is going to be incredible. Sari has dropped those in the chat. Of course, those links will also be in your replay. If you have any additional questions, please make sure that you reach out to us or to Brooklyn. Again, my friend, thank you for being here. And we will see you all at the next Money Talks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Katie. Bye.